What's good, ladies and gentlemen? I'm CK, that's DJ, and welcome back to some more CK and DJ Reacts. So today we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. If you guys don't know, me and DJ are wrestling fans. We are big wrestling fans. We've been big wrestling fans our entire life. I really kind of follow mainly more of WWE. He kind of follows WWE, AEW, probably some other wrestling promotions. But I'm strictly just WWE. But for those of you that do know, every single year after WrestleMania, WWE does mass releases. And right now they released a little over 20 wrestlers from the main roster and from NXT. I think it's maybe 23 or 24. But this is the current list that has been released. So me and DJ, we're just gonna give our thoughts and our opinions about each of these releases. I know for me for sure, a lot of the NXT talent that's on this list, I don't know because I never really have time to watch NXT. Um, and I don't know if some of these names are on NXT Level Up, if they're still doing that or Evolve. So I don't know. But let's just go over the list here real quick. All of the Wyatt Six: Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, Dexter Loomis, and then Kyrie Sane, the Motor City Machine Guns, Aleister Black, Zelina Vega. DJ, how do you want to say that next name? How do you like to say that man's name? What, Santos? What?
Santos Escobar.
Yep, that name too. Zoe Stark, Alba Fire, Apollo Cruz, Andre Chase, Dante Chen, Tyra May Steele, Chris Island, Tyreek, I think it's Igwe, Trill
Mhm.
London, Serena
Mhm.
Linton, Luca Crucifino, I'm assuming, Malik Blade, and Tyson DuPont. So everybody down from Andre Chase to the bottom, like I said, those are more than likely that's more than likely NXT talent. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time to watch NXT, so I can't really speak on them. DJ might be able to speak on them. I know I can't. But I'm just gonna start off and say, like, one of the biggest shockers to me was Kyrie Sane. She has been featured a lot on Monday Night Raw. She was just on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. And I think also some of these might just be expiring contracts that just never got re signed or redid. But, like Kyrie Sane to me is one of the biggest surprises to me. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. That one's kind of a surprise to me, especially since Aleister Black had a rivalry with Damian Priest. He had a little bit of a rivalry. No, it was with Damian Priest. Him and Zelina had a rivalry with Damian Priest. Priest brought in Rhea to even the odds. He had a he I know he had a match against Cody not too long ago where he actually won. So I kind of thought maybe Alistair was maybe about to be in a bigger role on SmackDown, finally get some more time. Um, Zoe Stark, I believe she's still recovering from her knee injury that she suffered, I believe, middle of last year. Um, Apollo Cruz, I'm actually really surprised he was still in the company as long as he has been. He really hasn't done anything significant, or he hasn't been prominent in years. Um, Alba Fire, other than her being in her Secret Harvest gimmick with Chelsea Green. And you look at the Motor City Machine Guns again, a tag team division that just again you had a good tag team division, but no storylines for the Motor City Machine Guns. Really, the tag team division has kind of been very disappointing in terms of storylines and building everything. Like, what was the whole point on bringing these guys in, and you didn't have anything long term planned for them? You had nothing planned for the tag team division, and then the YS6 in general. I mean, just again, this was supposed to be something for the memory of Bray Wyatt. They had a great debut, but just because the inconsistent booking that they had with them, um, it's just kind of sad. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Stuff like that with having like a group of five, I can honestly understand if there's not other groups of that many superstars. I can understand how it can be difficult to maybe kind of keep them in consistent storylines and keep getting them exposure can be difficult. But man, it sucks. Like, they had a great debut, but to see all of them go, that's definitely kind of sad. But and then Santos Escobar, I think outside of his group that he had, I think he was doing a lot of AAA stuff. But I'm gonna let DJ take over. If there's anything else that I could think of, I'll jump in. But I'm gonna let DJ take over and say his part. DJ said that he will be going into more detail about these releases over on the Twin Wrestle podcast. So if you guys wanna go over and check that out, I'll make sure to put a link in the description to the Twin Wrestle podcast where he'll talk more about this. But DJ, go on ahead and give us your thoughts and opinions about all this.
Well, we all know this happens after every WrestleMania. It is entitled the Black Friday. At one of these stages, the aforementioned Wyndham Rotunda that you just mentioned, Bray Wyatt was among these names at one point. After WrestleMania 38 a couple years back, he was one of the ones we got released on that very Black Friday. Now, years later, his brother and his brother's group have all been released. So Bo Dallas, Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, Dexter Loomis, the YS6 have all been gone. And it's not really a surprise to me, to be honest. If I'm being honest. Just because of their booking. Okay. They debuted hot. Everybody remember how they debuted. Attacking, destroyed the whole backstage, the way it was shot, the way everything was set up, the fake, the prop blood, and then them the end of night on Monday Night Raw back in, I think, September 2024. Hot, right? Then their feud with American Alpha. Go from there. And then the things where it started to get, I'll say pretty much go downhill, it was unfortunate because when everybody was talking about Mike Rotunda having his health issue, and Bo had to step away for a while and watch his dad and check on his dad and shit like that. Unfortunately, that hindered the group. That hurt the group because they wasn't featured on TV for, I think, a month and a half or two. So the writing was on the wall there, and then they just kept feuding with the MFTs going all the way back to October of last year. And they just lost the Friday before WrestleMania. So that was kind of a pinpoint there that they was going to be gone. When it comes to Kairi Sane, it made me feel bad for her just because she's been featured. She's literally a meme. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, she's been a meme this whole entire year with the whole Oscar and Kyrie situation. Making enough money. I thought she did well for the company. Like, in terms of her character being comedic, the matches she was putting on, I thought she was very, very well portrayed and produced quite well. So that one was kind of shocking. The Motor City Machine Guns, kind of shocking as well, but only 0.5% shocking because WWE was cooking with grease with this tag team division. Specifically on SmackDown, you had the Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Street Profits, Fratium. Then they threw Andrade and Ray Phoenix in there. Those 5 tag teams carried SmackDown the majority of last year. Carried it to the point to where they should have been on WrestleMania last year, but WWE realized that was a blunder on their end for not booking them on the show. So they had them fight in a TLC ladder match at SummerSlam this past year. And they tore the house down. DIY, Fratium, Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, Andrade, and Ray Phoenix had one of the best matches on that card. And it's unfortunate because before Motor City Machine Guns, Ciampa left. That spilled the end for DIY. The Street Profits haven't been featured. Now Motor City Machine Guns are no more. Andrade, he left, went to AEW. So the only people really there on the tag team division from the whole match from last year is Ray Phoenix, Fratium, and Johnny Gargano. Those are the only ones left on SmackDown. Street Profits are on Raw now. So WWE just, and let me preface this by saying we don't know if everything came from WWE because there was listed TKO over everything. So we don't know who made the final say. It might have been TKO. We don't know. But it's crazy how we can go from literally 6-7 months ago to where the tag team division was literally on fire to now, April of this year, the tag team division is no more. So it sucks for the Motor City Machine Guns. I can see them going back to TNA. They might sign with AEW, but they are TNA homers. So TNA is where they're supposed to be, man. Feud with the Hardys or whoever's over.
And if
Now,
I
the
can,
biggest shocker to me,
if I
go
can
ahead.
just chime in real quick, our SmackDown Tag Team Champions are Damian Priest and R-Truth. Out of all the tag teams you just named that are legit tag teams that are together. So to me, it kind of really puts into perspective. It's like you said, the booking. It's kind of like WWE really doesn't know what to do with their tag team division because how do you have that much talent, but you're putting titles on two people that are not like a legit tag team? Like, how do you have that much talent, but you can't figure out what to do with your tag team division? Like
Man, you've been
that's
watching
just crazy.
WWE for years. You know that's what they do. They always make these makeshift tag teams to be comedic and stuff like that.
And and
That's
it's
what
sad and it sucks. It like it really does. And this is no offense to Damian Priest and R-Truth, but man, you guys got tag teams on there that are legit tag teams. Put the belts on them.
well, not no
Showcase
more. All the
them.
tag teams are gone, bro.
Well, is
They have no more
Fraxium
tag
still
teams.
on? Isn't Fraxium still on SmackDown?
That's the only tag team. Them and Santos Escobar guys. That's it. Del Legado. That's the only tag teams on SmackDown. They have no more tag team. Tag teams are gone. They're
And
gone.
this
That's why
is
Ciampa decided to leave. Now Motor City Machine Guns are gone. Street Profits on Raw. Ray Phoenix and Andrade is no more. Andrade W.
well until they decide to put Penta and Ray Phoenix together, this is gonna be the case. And depending
That
on
ain't gonna
what
solve it either.
And depending on what they want to do with Jimmy and Jay, if they want to
Man.
throw them everywhere again, we kind of have to see. But go on. I'm sorry.
And the one that shocked me the most, and quite frankly, like made me mad and pissed off was Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. Just for the sheer fact that Aleister Black came back literally last year. Had a program with Randy Orton going all the way up to WrestleMania. And if you read the reports, the plan idea for WrestleMania, the whole angle, was Aleister Black was supposed to be involved in this angle, but TKO had to usher themselves into the WrestleMania plan like they always do, like they've been doing for the last 3-4 years. And they had to drag Pat McAfee. This is one of the other reasons that made the whole Pat McAfee shit for me so fucking stupid. It just cost Aleister Black his fucking job. So now we know why Aleister Black, the plans for him as Zelina Vega with Orton, got scrapped. Because they had him on a chopping block and they wanted to include fucking Pat McAfee. Instead of going with the plan, instead of going with the story that made the most sense, all the way leading back toward the Royal Rumble. The seed's been planted for Randy Orton and Aleister Black all the way since January. With Black putting the seeds in Randy Orton head about showcasing who the real Randy Orton is. And then we get to WrestleMania, Randy on a phone call, affirming who the real Randy Orton is by Pat McAfee. That explains why it didn't make no sense. And this fucking irritates me so much. Because Aleister Black had some steam. He beat Randy Orton before the Elimination Chamber. Beat him. Clean. Even though Drew McIntyre came out there, still beat him. It's a pinfall victory on TV. And you don't build to it. You scrap the plans. Now he's gone. He ain't been there a fucking year, man. Santos Escobar. You can tell that this was kind of coming just by basically how everything happened last year when he signed. He signed, I think, and I want to say like September, probably a little earlier than that. He probably signed somewhere in the summer, and he wasn't on TV at all the entire summer. They decided to put him on TV back in September, October, and he was in AAA. So you knew that was kind of iffy right there from the start. That they waited this long to feature him on TV, and then when he gets featured on TV, he's in AAA. He unfortunately gets hurt back in December, I believe it was. December or January, around there. He got hurt, and it's such that he got released while he's hurt, but he's not the first. He's just one of many to get released while injured. So it sucks for him. Zoe Stark, same thing. She got hurt back in June or May or somewhere last year with that brutal spot in that triple threat with her and Kyrie, where she tried to drop kick and Kyrie wasn't there and she landed wrong. She's been out rehabbing since then. Now she's gone. I know she made a statement on Twitter thanking WWE and stuff like that. Can this not be a trend? I know WWE pays their refs after, like pay their medical expenses and shit like that. But don't keep releasing people while they fucking hurt. Honestly. He did it with Ridge Holland last year, and then he had no money to pay for his recovery. Like, we had to stop doing that. Alba Fire. She was with Chelsea Green. But before that, she was the NXT UK Women's Champion. All remember. As Kaylee Ray. Right? Killing it over in NXT UK. Back to her Worlds Collide matchup with, I forget who it was the NXT Women's Champion around the time. But you can go to some of her matches with Toni Storm. So it sucks for Alba Fire because she didn't get to show who's Kylie Ray. They just ushered a new name on her, put her in a tag team with
Isla Dawn.
I forget her name. Isla Dawn, yeah. Well, Isla Dawn, and they won the tag team championships. Outside of that, she did nothing. I know she's super close with Piper and Chelsea, so she was cool with that. But I expect her to be now with Toni Storm on the mantle and out for a while. She might go to AEW, she may not. I know the former Dakota Kai called her out on Twitter, so they might have a match there. But that's us for Alba Fire. Apollo Crews. This probably should have happened a couple years earlier than what had happened. And he just recently came back in January, tricep surgery last year. So it kind of wasn't a surprise here. Maybe he can get back on the indies and get that Uhaa Nation fame that he once had back in the day. Now we get to the NXT prospects. Andre Chase, I'm surprised he lasted this long. Because once they got rid of, what's my guy name who was in this group? I forget his name. But once they got rid of the whole Andre Chase group, and it was just not left to Thea Hill and Andre Chase, and you never seen them on screen, I was surprised he was even still there. I thought he got released a long time ago. So this doesn't really surprise me. Dante Chen, we just saw him training Ice Show Speed for his WrestleMania match a couple weeks ago. So he's gone. Tyra May Steele, she won LFG season 2, I believe. And it's surprising that she's gone because she just won the season like late last year. So that's weird to me. Chris Island, he was on LFG as well. I think the last time I seen him he was in the NXT Battle Royal earlier this year. Tyreek Edwey and Trill London, they was a tag team at NXT, 2 big black dudes. I guess the gimmick was kind of like street. Kind of not really surprised here because they was barely featured. I think the last time I seen them might have been in September of last year on NXT. Serena Lenta, never really seen her at all. She probably was on level. Never really seen her. Luca what is his name? Crucifino, never seen him. Malik Blade, I'm honestly surprised Malik Blade even made it this far. He don't got the best look. I think he was even training too, so that's what make it even more. But when they released Idris Enofe, I thought Idris Enofe would have stayed because he had a better look than Blade did. He's the type of guy WWE is looking for. They released him and kept Malik Blade. I don't know why when them two was a tag team. It was a pretty decent tag team. But I was surprised he stayed this long. Tyson DuPont, I don't know who that is. Never seen him. Might have been a level up prospect as well. But some of these names, not really surprising. Some of these names, very unfortunate. And some of these names on this list just pisses me off. Specifically, Aleister Black and Selena Vega. I'm pretty sure there's more names to come. We ain't finished. We're never finishing probably into that Monday. So I wouldn't be shocked to see anybody names pop up, whether it be backstages that's even more talent and some names on the main roster that, you know, that is surprising. So I'll just be on the lookout and see. That's my thoughts on the whole situation.
I know there were rumors because I know one of the rumors that I heard was maybe Julia was getting released because she dropped the title to Tiffany Stratton, but they were supposed to have their match the Friday before WrestleMania. So I think if Julia was gonna get released, she would have already been released. I think her name would have already been on this list, but seeing as how they
Yeah, no, I think that I don't think that's going to happen. Just because they got that it was a specific deal with coming to WWE with the Joshi promotion. So I don't think WWE want to interfere with that shit and get in hot water with that because they had like an agreement with that. So I don't know about Julia. I don't think Julia. Some
but
others probably, but I don't think Julia.
but you know, and it's funny and going back to Aleister Black because he had a match with The Miz. I believe he beat The Miz, and I believe he had his match with Cody Rhodes, and he pinned Cody Rhodes on SmackDown. Like, you typically don't see. I mean, obviously, I think there was some sort of interference in that match, if I'm not mistaken. But I thought Aleister Black beat Cody Rhodes clean on SmackDown. I could be wrong. Plus, I think they also had a championship match on SmackDown between Aleister Black and Cody Rhodes too. So I think that's what happened. But if I'm wrong, I'm
No, I don't
wrong.
think they had no championship match. No,
Oh,
they ain't had no
but
championship.
I know they for sure had a match on SmackDown, and I believe Aleister Black won, and that says something. Cause when somebody beats the champion, that usually means, hey, we're looking at you, and there might be something here. So I would have loved to have seen Aleister Black win a world championship. I mean, obviously with everything going on, I mean, that probably wouldn't have happened, but it would have been nice to see it. And then listen, Zelina, I think Zelina's two prominent bookings have been her winning the Women's United States Championship and the match she had against Rhea at Backlash, I believe, in Puerto Rico. But other than that, Zelina was never really booked a lot or very high on, which is sad because her and getting to see her and Alistair outside of WWE has been really really cool. She did some stuff with Senna. If you guys don't know who that is, but it was really cool to see them outside of WWE. So it's like I do feel really bad for both Alistair and Zelina. And Alistair, he was in AEW as Malachi Black. Why did he leave AEW?
I mean, they didn't feature him, huh? He was only in tag team matches. He don't need to be in AEW. WWE was the right spot for him. That's why this whole situation just baffles me because WWE failed to put these people in better positions. Like instead of you was on the right trajectory, okay? You put him in there with Orton. The story with him and Orton, he beat Orton. Orton, they didn't even have a match after. They didn't have no match or rematch or nothing. After he beat Orton as a result of Drew McIntyre costing Orton the matchup. They didn't even have no rematch. They just had backstage segments. So it made sense to pigeonhole him in a Cody and Randy Orton storyline because he'd been the one to claim about the old Viper in the fucking first place. But they turned it into Pat McAfee, a TKO call. I don't know. Who's the Triple H got a sign off on it too. Okay. And this is my problem with WWE, okay? They fail to put these people in the right position. Let's just say Aleister Black, for example. You started well with Randy Orton, but you don't put him in those segments. I ain't seen him in no segment with Cody Rhodes, a guy he has fucking history with, going back to AEW where he beat Cody Rhodes the first 2 out of 3 times, clean. You don't do nothing there. Who else you have on SmackDown? You don't put him in a situation where he's in there with Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Sami Zayn. Okay? All these people on SmackDown. You want to freshen up the main event? How about us throwing Aleister Black in there with a Drew McIntyre? Or Jacob Fatu? The MFTs get more fucking TV time than Aleister Black do. And no one cares about them. They try as hard as they can, but no one cares, bro. And you don't feature the guy. This baffles me. Same thing with Karrion Kross. If you would have put the storyline the same way last year, it'd have been organic for Sami Zayn this year to be a more even over babyface. The story was right there staring you in the fucking face. You don't go with the stories. You'd rather just build around the same people. If it ain't Cody, if it ain't Roman, if it ain't Seth, who else I'm missing? CM Punk, Drew McIntyre? It's the same people, bro. The same people. That's what irks me. And you got people on the rise. You got Obafemi. You got Braun Breaker. You got Trick. You got Javon. But how will we know? This goes back to 2014 with CM Punk. How will we know what these guys got if we don't put them in main event scenes? If we don't put them in main event programs or put them in prominent programs with big superstars? How we know? How do we not know what they have? That's the issue to me. And I know from watching wrestling, from years of me watching it, not everybody can be at the top. I know that. But you don't even fucking try in this new age, bro. Try to be creative with the same people. SmackDown has been dog shit this whole entire year, bro. Don't that tell you should switch up the formula or something? How many times we don't see Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre? How many times on SmackDown? You see Cody Rhodes come out there and cut a promo. Drew McIntyre come out there, cut a promo. I ain't seen Cody Rhodes in no fucking match on SmackDown on how. Probably besides the WWE Championship. That's the only time he's in a match on SmackDown. They got to do with the fucking title. It's the only time. Other than that, these guys are in promo segments. And you put in fucking filler. And I love R-Truth as much as the next person. But I don't need to see R-Truth on my fucking screen, bro. Not alone as a tag team champion. Hence the Motor City Machine Guns. Let me stop before I get ahead of myself, man, because this really irking me. Go ahead.
So essentially, guys, like I said, DJ will more than likely go into greater detail about all this over on the Twin Wrestle Pod. I'm going to make sure I leave a link to that in the description. I don't know when he'll record it or when he'll get that video out, but you can see he was cooking and he was stating straight facts. But it's just the booking has and again with Triple H, he's had some great decisions, he's had some good decisions, he's had some bad decisions, he's had some terrible decisions. So at the end of the day, we all know everything comes down to booking or how it's booked. And it's like DJ said, you have to put these guys in certain spots to see if you want to say they sink or they swim, because you don't know who's going to be the next big main eventer. And another thing is, Karrion Kross, he was booked so poorly, he got himself over. And you know how a lot of people like to say WWE don't like when you get yourself over without their help. So
well, maybe if they put more time into actually put creative for other people, they won't have to get themselves over.
So at the end of the, and like I said, a lot of these names, again, and Alba Fire, again, Piper Niven's injured. I think Chelsea Green is injured. Why not have her go back to Kaylee Ray and have her showcase what she can do as a single star on the main roster? I mean, who was the girl they got? What was her name? Wasn't it?
Oh.
It wasn't Tatum Paxley. Who was the goth looking chick that had one televised match on SmackDown and then they released her?
Beat Priestley.
Who?
Well, she wasn't beat Priestley in WWE, but that's her name. I forget what name they gave her.
What I know what, like, I can see her face, but I cannot think of her name right now. She had.
You talking about B Priestley, but I don't remember what name they gave her.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
It
I
was
think
underwhelming. I don't remember it.
yeah, she had one televised match on SmackDown, and I think it was a triple threat match, and they winded up releasing her. Blair Davenport, that's her name. Blair Davenport. One match, I believe she had one televised match on SmackDown, and it was a triple threat match.
She had a few. She had one with Naomi, and then she had the triple threat.
Oh, okay. And
that was about it.
It's just like, how do you expect to build these people and you don't give them a chance? We just got Fatal Influence on SmackDown last night. They did nothing different that we have not seen. When the Riot Squad, when they made their debut, what did they do? It was a 6-women tag team match. They came in and they attacked everybody. And they did the same thing with Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, and I can't remember who the other one that they had in that group. We've seen that already. So now the question is, what's gonna happen to Fatal Influence over the next few years? I mean, we already know JC Jane is the leader of that group, but what's gonna happen then? We just got Ethan Page. We just got Sol Ruka. They should have really good careers on the main roster. But other than that, and Joe Henry, who got called up, he was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I'm already worried about Joe Henry, because how much is he gonna be showcased, or is he just gonna be relegated to backstage segments where his name gets said and he pops up? So it's going to be real interesting going into next year to see what happens, because next year we have WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. So going into that, that's going to be very, very interesting as well.
Man, you already know where they're going with that shit. They already trying to rumor this card. So they're trying to get Rock in there. They're trying to get any big name over there.
Because, that's because Saudi wants all the big names for WrestleMania over there.
This the worst thing WWE ever could have done, was signing with Vince, signing with TKO. It's the worst thing they ever could have done.
So, but that's all I really have left to say. DJ, do you have anything else do you want to say, or do you want to save it for the Twin Wrestle Pod?
I ain't got nothing, man.
All right, guys. So that's just gonna do it for this reaction. This was something a little different. I've been wanting us to do something wrestling related on this channel for a while. It's just other stuff just came up that I just felt like was a little bit more important, or we just didn't have time to do it. But all right, guys, that's gonna be it for this video, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.